call.
Blunier? Here. Hilliard?
Here.
Leach?
Here.
Mennel? Newman?
Here.
Parrott?
Here.
We have four.
From the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No public hearings tonight. We do have some presentations. It is National Police Week next week, May 12th to the 18th, and I'll turn it over to the chief.
Thank you. All right. Good evening. We have 3 awards tonight. Unfortunately, only one of the officers could be here this evening to be recognized. The first award is a Meritorious Service Award, and it's being awarded to Detective Jason Cabell, and he's being acknowledged for his exceptional dedication and professional conduct during an incident involving a suicidal and missing person in February of 2023. The police department received a call regarding a missing person who left a letter indicating that he was suicidal, and then he went mobile. Further investigation indicated that the person was now traveling in another state. Detective Cabell was able to make contact by phone and connect with the individual in crisis. He listened attentively and offered support and reassurance, demonstrating a level of compassion and understanding that is truly commendable. While Detective Cabell was speaking with the individual, Morton officers were able to coordinate their efforts and pinpoint the location of where that subject was at and inform local law enforcement agencies accordingly. In doing so, the individual was subsequently stopped by the police and surrendered peacefully. He was then transferred to a mental health facility. Through Detective Cabell's efforts, he was able to de-escalate a potentially volatile situation and guide the individual's surrender to responding officers in that state, ensuring that he received the necessary assistance and support that he needed. Detective Cabell's actions reflect positively upon himself and the Morton Police Department. His commitment to protecting and serving our community extends beyond law enforcement duties and embodies the values of compassion and service that is at the core of our profession. Please accept this Meritorious Service Award as a token of our appreciation, Detective Cabell. Your exemplary conduct serves as an inspiration to your colleagues and as testament to the positive impact that law enforcement officers can have on the lives of those in crisis. Detective Cabell's calm demeanor, empathy, and effective communication skills played a pivotal role in resolving the situation peacefully and ensuring the safety and well-being of all involved. Thank you for your unwavering dedication to public safety and for upholding the highest standards of professionalism and compassion in the face of challenging circumstances. Again, unfortunately, he can't be here tonight. He actually texted me tonight, and he was still working at 6 o'clock. They were investigating something over in Peoria. I think they had a suspect or something that they were trying to apprehend. So, again, that just kind of shows his dedication to the profession, and unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight to be recognized in person. Officer Schwank, if you want to come forward. This next award is a life-saving award, and it's actually being awarded to 2 officers in relation to the same call. In December of 2023, in the morning hours, Sergeant Smith and Officer Schwank responded to a resident on the initial report of an individual experiencing unusual breathing patterns and unresponsiveness. The situation quickly escalated to the point of full cardiac arrest. Upon arrival, Sergeant Smith and Officer Schwank discovered the individual on the floor without a detectable pulse. Without hesitation, officers initiated life-saving measures. Through their collective efforts, they successfully revived the individual and were able to restore a pulse. Once Morton paramedics arrived, they took over ongoing life support measures. The decisive actions of Sergeant Smith and Officer Schwank in conjunction with the response of the Morton paramedics undoubtedly played a crucial role in the survival of this individual. Thanks to their unwavering commitment to public safety and their exemplary professionalism, the individual not only endured the initial incident, but was alive upon arrival at the hospital and able to recover from the incident. In recognition of their exceptional performance under pressure and their contribution to preserving human life, I'm honored to present Sergeant Smith and Officer Schwank with the Life Saving Award. Their dedication to duty and extraordinary effort reflects the highest standards of the Morton Police Department. The actions of Sergeant Smith and Officer Schwank are commendable. Their courage and proficiency continue to make a lasting impact on the well-being of the community. Thank you, Officer Schwank.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment tonight? Okay. Next, we have the consent agenda, the approval of the minutes, and the approval of the bills. Can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Not call the roll.
Blunier? Yes. Hilliard?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Mennel?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Parrot?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, village clerk, anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Village administrator, anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Chief of police?
2 items tonight, Your Honor. The first is a resolution authorizing purchase of tasers and the execution of an officer safety plan agreement with Axon Enterprises.
All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. The Axon Officer Safety Plan is a 10-year contract with Axon. In 2023, we paid approximately $70,000 in invoices to Axon. We presently have a la carte pricing on all of our Axon services, which include body cameras, in-car cameras, tasers, and then a couple of other items that allow us to be more efficient in our operations. One of which is the ability for the officers to have their calls auto-tagged that they respond to, whether it's on their body cameras or in-car cameras. They no longer have to take the time to go to an app and then basically categorize calls. So what it does is it matches up with the CAD system at dispatch, and it cross-references that information, and then it enters that into a cloud that stores all of the information, so they no longer have to take the time when they leave a call to do that. We also added professional standards since we've implemented these technology items that basically employs an algorithm to check and make sure that the officers are doing what they're supposed to do. So it essentially will spot check to make sure that, one, their body cameras are turned on when they're supposed to be. Again, that looks at CAD records, sees how many calls they were dispatched to, and then matches that up with body camera activations. And then it also is a fair way for us to basically have our supervisors look at videos and make sure that the officers are following policies and procedures when they're on calls, without them being able to make any claim of any impropriety or that they were singled out or anything like that. So we basically let the software handle all that for us. One of the big benefits of entering into this officer safety plan is a cost savings. So under this 10-year agreement, we have an inflationary rate of 5% built in annually, and that's locked in for all 10 years. And I know in looking at the Consumer Price Index from 2022, inflationary rates for hardware and software usually averages about 7% and above. So we're able to realize on the inflationary side of things a 2% savings minimum based on historical information. But it also, because we're no longer purchasing things at a la carte pricing and combining it all into this officer safety plan, we're able to realize $291,000 in savings over that 10-year period of time. One of the other key things is in 2025, for a municipality of our population, we will be mandated legislatively to have body cameras. We got out in front of that by a couple years so we could get policy and procedure in place, and then also kind of work the bugs out of the system. But with that being said, it's also written within the law how long we're required to maintain that footage. And so being about 2 months shy of 2 years into the agreement, we're already out of storage. So we would have to purchase storage from this point forward between just prior to year 2 to year 5 at whatever cost Axon says that the storage is, which I would anticipate that would go up annually. This plan allows us for the entire 10 years to have unlimited storage of that data. So it also gives us early refresh of our body cameras. They are actually going to, if we enter into this agreement, we will have new body cameras 2.5 years early before that 5-year refresh period. We would have body cameras probably within 90 days of executing the agreement. And then also they have new tasers, and they're able to deploy at 45 feet, which gives more time for the officers to attempt to de-escalate the situation before they would have to, do something higher on the force continuum, which I think is very important. And it also allows for 10 individual opportunities to use that taser versus the 2 that we have now with the Taser 7s. So that's just some of the benefits. Like I said, there's a large cost savings built in, and it's something that has kind of become the industry standard. And like I said, as far as the body cameras go, we will be obligated in 2025 to have those regardless. So, does anyone have any questions?
Any questions?
Couple. You mentioned something about prior you have been expending about $70-some thousand a
Yes.
year.
Yes.
For what?
So when we first got into business with Axon, we first purchased tasers with them, and then after tasers, then we got into a contract for body cameras, and then we decided to get into a contract with in-car cameras because we were due for a refresh on our in-car cameras, and it actually made sense to switch to Axon from Motorola because everything then could be integrated into the same cloud. And also, when we prepare our cases for prosecution and we send it to the state's attorney's office, the nice thing about this is it puts it in one nice little package, and we can transmit it digitally to the state's attorney's office, and then they can open it up and use it for whatever they need to use it for.
So we would, by moving in this direction, we would no longer be expending that kind of money.
We would be replacing that $70,000, which is set to increase this year. We would be replacing those separate contracts with this one 10-year agreement.
Okay.
So,
Second question, is this paid in annual installments or?
yes, yeah. There's a fee schedule, and it's divided up over 10 years with annual payment. And then this year that we would receive a credit for actually, we're a little bit paid ahead, but we would receive a credit. In the information in the packet, there's a breakdown of what the annual cost
I do
is.
see that, second page, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
It seems to me that you hit on a couple key things. The money savings over time, the increased storage you won't have to pay for.
Correct.
I think the accuracy will be there. There's no human error for accuracy. And then the time savings for the officer, given when they're in a situation, they don't know what to expect. They never do. It's something different every time, and it could escalate, and they don't have to worry about that. They just focus on what they do best, which is to de-escalate the situation. So
Correct. Yeah, one other thing that I didn't mention, kind of on the back end of things, some of the systems are still physical storage based, and that always required someone within the police department to transfer the media to that storage and then transfer it to the state's attorney's office, where we found that it's extremely efficient to do things this way, where we can just digitally transmit everything and cut that whole part of the process out.
Takes away that room for, error, human
Correct.
error, and takes
Yep.
that out, which I imagine from a prosecution standpoint, that chain of custody thing probably gets streamlined
Yes.
this way too.
Yep.
Very good. Any other questions? If not, call the roll.
Pullinger?
Yes.
Hilliard? Yes. Leach?
Yes.
Mennel? Yes. Newman?
Yes.
Parrot?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Chief, you had one more item
Yeah,
tonight?
second item of business is a resolution authorizing a revised agreement with the Flock Group.
Get a motion?
Second.
Good.
So this is a modification to our existing Flock LPR camera contract. We're looking to add 5 additional cameras. These 5 additional cameras would be placed at locations that we've identified where there's high motor vehicle traffic, the opportunity to commit crimes undetected, and are currently underserved by our existing Flock cameras. One thing of note is we're not even 1 year into our current agreement with Flock, and we found that it's a very efficient way to investigate crimes. We have been able to, there's parameters that you can set within the software that will notify the officers of certain vehicles that come into town after it reads license plate. We've been able to apprehend stolen vehicles, reduce the number of retail thefts, and solve existing retail theft cases, in addition to gaining valuable information on vehicle burglaries. I'm going to reserve commenting on actual data because, like I said, we haven't even been 1 year into the agreement. I would like to be able to compare year-to-year data once we have reached that point. But the attached contract is for the hardware and the subscription terms. The additional cost would be $15,000 annually for a period of 24 months.
Any comments? I'll make a comment, and Chief, you and I talked about this earlier today, and I feel similar to these this kind of revised agreement as I did last time. It's a kind of principle matter for me. I fully recognize, you know, it is an incredible crime-fighting tool,
Sure.
but on a principle matter, I can't support it just from you know, the big brother, the trading liberty for safety. I can't. But I fully recognize, and
Sure.
I'm not, you know, it's one of those things where I could argue both ways. But so just
I understand. And
I just had a.
Yes.
Are there some grants out there that we can get to for future? I know that Peoria just added a great number of cameras to their systems and appeared through some grants.
Sure. There are some grants that are available. One in particular, and I can't speak to the exact grant. There's all kinds of Department of Justice grants that are available, but one is Safe Streets, and that's one grant that's available. We've not applied for anything like that. It would be a possibility in the future. One issue that we've run into, even when it comes to less lethal items, and I had spoken to our ILEAS representative about this. With some of the contracts, the problem is when you're leasing equipment, the grants haven't seemed to have caught up to that. And we talked again this year about trying to, at a state or even a federal level, try to address that, because I know with our less lethal agreements, we've looked at numerous grants and body cameras, and it always prohibits agencies from benefiting from it if they lease things. And to me, that's what makes the most sense versus physically purchasing things. I know, and just in the time that I've been at the police department, and since we have went to in-car cameras, we've been left with hardware after about 5 to 7 years that's no longer usable. And so going forward, you know, when we were able to get into a lease agreement with, like I just spoke about with Axon, that makes more sense to us because there's generally a built-in refresh of the equipment. But back to your point about the flock cameras, that's certainly something that we can explore. Usually, the grants that I've looked at are tailored towards violent crime prevention, and sometimes we don't always, which I think is a good thing, but it kind of shuts us out from some of those funding sources because we don't have the levels of violent crime that some communities have.
Thank you.
Yes. Of note, though, I did apply for a micro grant. We added 3 officers to the police department, and I did apply for a micro grant to fund the purchase of those 3 officers' body cameras. But I would suspect that I'm probably going to be told the same thing, that because we can't wait, you know, or we don't want to wait to hear back if we get awarded that money, because we're not comfortable putting our officers on the streets without body cameras. Now we have a little bit of a period of time right now where they're in training, but there again we miss a valuable opportunity to go back and look at what they're doing right, what they may not be doing right. That's one of the things that we found is a great use of the body camera is it's a first person perspective of your actions on a call, and so the sooner we could get body cameras for them, the better. And I was willing to accept whatever they said when the grant was awarded, but I wasn't willing to accept them not having body cameras.
No further questions, call the roll.
Blunier,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach,
Yes.
Mennel,
Yes.
Newman,
No.
Parrot.
No.
Motion carries.
Corporation Counsel's not here tonight. Director of Fire and Emergency Services.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have one resolution, which is 0325, resolution regarding staffing model for full-time first shift fire department. Over the last few months, we've been working with the Police and Fire Commission to try to establish the framework, which is largely the legal framework required by the state of
Actually, I'm
Illinois.
going to pause you for a minute. I think we need a motion, do we not?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Please.
To,
Sorry.
with the state of Illinois to do an initial hiring of firefighters, as has previously been discussed here. One of the things that came up in those meetings with the Police and Fire Commission is we felt that it was important that we kind of establish those first parameters for hiring so that any potential applicants would know what to expect, what the working hours would be, what their expected pay would be, and so forth. So this resolution is designed to kind of establish that up front.
Questions or comments? Not, call the roll.
Blunier,
Yes.
Hilliard,
No.
Leach,
Yes.
Mennel,
No.
Newman,
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Zoning code, I'm sorry, Director of Public Works not here. Zoning code enforcement.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
All right. Trustees, anything? All right. No need for a closed session tonight, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.